Now, Russia has accused the West of making the situation worse in Syria. Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov said calls for the overthrow of Assad's regime is nothing but a provocation. Let's cross live now to RT's Peter Oliver for details on this. Well, nothing too light there, Peter. Strong words for the international community from Lavrov, wouldn't you say?
That's right. Well, what we heard from Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov today was him reiterating Russia's position on the ongoing conflict in Syria. Now, that position is that they want to see negotiations, not regime change, become the final outcome in that conflict. Now, Sergey Lavrov today said that he called the Western calls for Assad to step aside, and also for the opposition in Syria not to negotiate with Assad. He called that a provocation, saying that that would not bring about peace, that would only spur on the opposition to continue the fight, which we've seen so far over the last 8 months has resulted in 3,500 people being killed in that country. Mr. Lavrov saying that this international provocation should not have happened.
In Syria, we're now seeing a situation where the Arab League is calling for a halt to violence and the beginning of dialogue. And Western countries and the capitals of some countries of the region are making calls to the contrary, expressly recommending the opposition hold no talks with the Assad regime. It looks like a political provocation on an international scale. Yes, violence has to be stopped, but this demand has to be addressed to the authorities and the armed groups in the Syrian opposition.
Now, this isn't the first time that Sergey Lavrov has accused the West of meddling in the Syrian situation. Now, he also suggested that there was a shadowy hand of Western governments behind the Arab League's decision to suspend Syria from their group last week. Now, of course, the last country to be suspended from the Arab League before Syria was Libya. And that situation what we saw in Libya is something that Russia really does not want to see happen in Syria. Also, the Syrian opposition were here in Moscow last week. Their leaders also saying they did not want to see a similar outcome as what happened in Libya, where international armed intervention took place, and that intervention straying well beyond the parameters of UN resolutions that were laid down. This type of outcome is something that both Russia and the Syrians want to avoid happening in that country.
All right, RT's Peter Oliver there, live in central Moscow.